Welcome to CryptoChicks Corner, an educational podcast to teach you the basics of blockchain technology and how to harness it to start or expand your own business. CryptoChicks is a nonprofit organization on a mission to grow the professional and leadership potential of women in blockchain and artificial intelligence. I'm your host, Ashley Spradlin, and welcome to our corner. In this episode, we're going to lay the foundation for learning the basics of blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and how you can create or join a decentralized community to grow a business or even just participate in the economy as a confident, informed individual. Each following episode of this podcast will build on this foundation, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button to keep learning and growing with us. To understand the blockchain, we need to start with an understanding of why people are seeking decentralized applications and a new form of internet. So let's talk Web3. Now, if you're like me, the first time I heard that term, you might be thinking, when was there a Web 1 and Web 2, and what does this even mean? So let's get into it. These terms, Web 1, 2, and 3, are used to describe significant changes in the evolution of the internet, from its beginning to our current journey into decentralization. Web 1 was the read-only web, where people could read information written on websites. This was the advent of the internet, so think back to the early 90s, if you were alive then. You had a website URL, you got online, and just read what was posted. This was pre-Google, so there were no browsers or indexes yet. You didn't really interact with the content or connect with people directly through the internet. It was just a source of information. By the late 90s, we started entering Web 2 territory. And Web 2 has both read and write functions, so people can interact on web applications. We saw blogs start to really pick up in popularity, and e-commerce became a household institution. Amazon took off, Google made searching the web a breeze, and not long after, social media took center stage. I remember creating profiles on Zynga and MySpace, and then finally, in the early 2000s, everyone could see what their friends ate for lunch when Facebook launched. So now users can read, write, buy, sell, and create their own content to share with friends, all online. Now, let's pair this expansion of social media platforms with the popularity of smartphones. Now people can be connected to the internet at all times. It's no longer just a place to log on and learn or interact, but it really developed into a marketplace of its own. As cloud computing became a hub for online commerce, the internet became more and more centralized, with mass data centers being held by just a few big players. So let me break that piece down for you just a bit more. Cloud computing is the delivery of different services through the internet. Think data storage, servers, networking, and software. Cloud-based storage makes it possible to save files to a remote database and retrieve them on demand. So if you have an iCloud account, Dropbox, Google Cloud, just to name a few, those are all cloud computing services. Now, what do I mean by data centers? Mass data centers. A data center is an actual physical space, like a building or rooms within a building, or even in multiple locations where computer systems operate and store information. They typically have backups and environmental controls to maintain security, but there's still inherent risk in keeping so much value in one or a few places under the control of one entity. If servers go down or are otherwise vulnerable to attack, your data can be compromised. It has never been so cheap and easy for entrepreneurs to grow in the online space with the evolution of Web 2. But now, user data is used and monetized, with the revenue being held by just a few big organizations. Each website you interact with collects some data from you, packages it up, and passes it on for a profit. This is how companies like Facebook, now Meta, make most of their money. This means not only do users have to trust that their data is being used with integrity and care for privacy, security relies on a single point of failure. People are more conscious than ever of the power of their data. Algorithms track our spending habits, the content we engage with the most, and it feeds us more of the same. We exist in these echo chambers of like-minded thoughts, and it's easy to feel confined to these internet silos built to profit off our online activity. Without discarding the benefits of global connectivity and a new medium of exchange, people began searching for a way to redistribute some of the control from a handful of corporations back to individual users. Decentralization is the focus of Web3. You might think of decentralization as the distribution of power. The power to make decisions, the power to control your personal information, and the power to participate in a global community without needing the permission of another party. It also means data is not stored in one or just a few places, but in many, spread across the globe. Basically, in a decentralized Web3, data is stored on a blockchain, which we'll explain in more detail in a later episode. But essentially, a blockchain is a public ledger distributed across a network of nodes, or devices, that's spread out all over the world. This removes the monopoly type of environment of Web 2 and the problem of security that comes with centralization. Web 3 is a read, write, and interact web, powered by artificial intelligence. So instead of creating a user account for each online web application you use, like Twitter, Spotify, or Etsy, or having to go through a middleman, you can interact with decentralized applications, often referred to as dApps, without needing approval from any other entities or governments. Don't worry, we'll dive deeper into dApps in future episodes. This next iteration of the internet is rapidly expanding and changing, so it's tough to know exactly how it will evolve. What's important to know is that Web3 is reducing the amount of control held by just a few entities and allowing people to take ownership of their data again. In a Web3 environment, users can be compensated for the use of their data. They can choose what to share, when to share it, and with whom. So, how will Web3 change our society? The possibilities are endless, and there are many applications yet to be conceived. However, so far, we're seeing new projects in financial services that remove barriers for people who live in developing countries and have no access to them. Movements in decentralized education to give more people access to quality educators. Revolutions in art, music, gaming, and this is only the beginning. But for now, let's take it in small bites and call it a day. That's a lot of information to absorb, and there's still much to learn. I want to remind you of the power of the beginner's mindset. Opportunity awaits, and you've taken step one by listening to this podcast. So keep at it. All you have to do is tune in, ask questions, and be ready to step up and share your gifts, because we need you. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of CryptoChicks Corner. I hope it was helpful. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you're notified when we release new episodes to build on what you just learned. We would love for you to take a moment to rate and review the show to help us serve more entrepreneurs. And remember that anyone can join our CryptoChicks Academy to take courses from experts in the field, and our hatchery can help you transform your business idea into a well-funded startup. Check out our show notes to get started, and we look forward to seeing you shine. This podcast wouldn't be possible without the support of our incredible sponsors. Women of Crypto is an NFT avatar collection that's the first of its kind, 3D rendered, and meant to represent the diversity and beauty of every single woman in the world. Their efforts are invested to bridge the gender gap and inspire and invigorate more women to participate in the world of crypto. Women of Crypto is a Metatora project, and we're so proud to partner with them. We also want to thank Metis. Metis is an Ethereum Layer 2 optimistic rollup platform to help you launch into the Web3 economy. Their platform harnesses the security and decentralization strengths of the Ethereum network with the added benefit of fast, low-cost transactions, native storage, and a user-friendly interface to make deploying your project simple and stress-free. Whether you're expanding projects in decentralized finance, NFTs, gaming, community, or you want to take your Web2 business to the next level, Metis is the platform for you.